Disruptors, I want to welcome you to another episode of Close the Deal. This is a special episode of Your First Franchise. And I've got an industry icon who's been with Ziebart for 39 years. He's seen it all. He's seen the good, he's seen the bad, he's seen it evolve to the point that we've got 1,300 locations in 37 countries across the globe and here in the United States. Mike, I want to welcome you to the show, and man, I'm glad to have you.
Good afternoon, Mueller. It's a pleasure to be here.
So you're based in Detroit, Michigan. Let me ask you, I want to ask another question. I didn't ask this in the preview. When you have a client, where are you taking to eat out? Because I was in Detroit, Christmas, two Januaries ago, and I was shocked. I had not been there in 20 years. Detroit has made, I want people to hear that, Detroit has made a 180-degree turnaround. Your city is absolutely stunning now. It's beautiful. I'm amazed by it. And we went out to eat some of the best restaurants I've had in a while. What is your favorite place to take somebody to go out to do dinner for business?
Well, I'll tell you, you are correct. Detroit is absolutely a fantastic city now. I can't believe the leadership down there and what they've done. Fox District area, all the way downtown Detroit. My favorite for myself and my family would be Texas de Brazil, downtown Detroit.
Okay.
That's where we go. But for the clients that come into town to meet with me and our staff, whatever they like is where we go.
Good answer. All right. I love it. Yeah. And man, my wife had to go down there for business as well. And one of her, somebody was on the board of the Detroit Athletic Club and offered up a room for us. And we took it. I had no idea what we were going to. That is one stunning place.
It is.
The city is
We're
beautiful.
members of the Detroit Athletic Club.
Yeah. Amazing experience being there. All right. Who or what are you grateful for to help you get where you are today?
Well, I'm grateful for the fact that I had the opportunity to come to this company back in 1985. That's the first thing I'm grateful for. Some of the things that I owe homage to would be Tom Wolf himself and the loyalty he has for his staff and the franchisees. I wouldn't be here for 39 years if I didn't believe that. Yeah, I didn't see it through the actions that they did and the executive committee that's here and plus the board. These group of individuals has really seen us through the good times and the bad times, and now through the fantastic times as we've developed and evolved over the years.
And you all started, talk about the origin. You all started, I remember the brand well in the 80s. I mean, I remember hearing it as a kid. What was the original iteration of the brand, of the product, service? And it's very different today because
that was Kurt Ziebart in 1954. He was an immigrant, came here. And he worked in a repair facility. And then one day he just came to him that something needed to be done for the corrosion in the vehicles. And he started the process first with basic automotive oil and then changed it to a formulation through Roger Wendell, his partner. And that became the rust proofing of the industry. And Roger Wendell was a chemist at another company and in another industry, the military, and has developed that brand that it is today. We still keep the formula and the recipe that we have, and it's private to us. But that changed the vision of cars and how long they would last. So we were a very integral part of the automotive industry in preserving consumers' investment. Because if you'll remember back, you would buy a car, and once it reached 25 or 30,000 miles, you were getting rid of it because it was just rotted out and it was going to break down. Well, technology changed. Automobiles changed with that technology and became longer lasting. In 1986, they changed over to better corrosion protection in the model, which changed our industry. And we learned early on that we had to diversify, and that's what we did. And this is how we got to where we are today. So those were some of the biggest challenges, diversifying the franchisees into doing products that they weren't comfortable in doing.
Yeah. So it's changed, forced it y'all for the better, because today y'all have grown to literally 1,300 locations across the globe. Now you're starting to really cultivate back home
Yes, we
the
are.
brand. How many locations you have in the United States now?
106 in the United States right now. We're getting ready to onboard 4 more, and then we have 3 under construction across the United States too, as well. So we have plenty of people lining up. We have 17 that we've managed to pick up through IFPG and through our own website to individuals who are interested in looking in the automotive franchising business.
Well, let's look at the brand now that exists today. Let's look at it first through the lens of the consumer. So what services, when they drive up, what services can they expect going to a Ziebart today?
Well, in all services, you're going to find at a Ziebart center, you will find detailing, protection categories, and then you will find films categories. So each one of those has profit drivers under each of the categories. So detailing, the interior, exterior cleaning, paint correction is done, headlight restoration, any of those services. And then for protection category, we consider protection, both interior and exterior versions of it. And that would be diamond gloss, Z ceramic coating for the paint, rust protection as always, and then underbody corrosion protection and sound barrier. Then we have fabric protection, leather protections for the vehicle itself. That's just on the protection category. If you want to consider protection for the truck bed, you would consider vinyl lining sprayed on bed liner. So that's a form of protection as well that we offer. So those will be found at the franchising. And then the films category, we have paint protection film, and we have window tinting that we provide to consumers. And in some stores may do striping or a small graphic application along the way. But every single one of the stores will offer all of those services, from the detailing to the spray on bed liner to corrosion, films category. So what we provide to the consumer, what they'll see is they'll see a clean facility, a well-lit facility, a nice showroom, well-trained staff to provide them information on what items are available to them based upon the level of protection that they need for their vehicle and the level of investment that they have made already. So they'll get that from every single location that they go to, plus a nationwide warranty.
Okay, so let's look at it now from the potential franchisee, somebody considering investing into a Ziebart.
Sure. Well, if you love customers and you're an automotive enthusiast, you'll see that we are a one-stop shop for the consumer. So typically under those items that we just discussed, the consumer would have to go to 3 or 4 different locations to get that done. We offer it under one umbrella, a Ziebart brand. So when you come to us, you will get 8 to 12 weeks of training. You're going to get a staff that's going to be dedicated to your store. You're going to get support in the field, and you're going to be delivered a turnkey business to you if you're looking to be in the automotive business. We are the #1 supplier for appearance protection services in the United States.
So I want to unpack this a little bit. What does the building look like? Are they building a building from scratch? Are they taking a building that's existing, renovating it? What's happening?
You can do all 3 of those. All 3. So typically, most franchisees come to us with a vision of leasing a building, and that building is going to be 6,500 square feet. Is the sweet spot, but we'll look at 5,500 to 7,500 square feet, depending on market size and the capital investment that the franchisee is looking at investing. If you're going to do this and you're going to get into the business, depending on where you're at and in which market you're in, my best advice is, in the long range, if you do not have the capital to purchase property, you should lease that property with a 5-year vision of owning property at the end of that 5th year.
Yeah.
That's what we recommended. We help that buyer to negotiate the lease contracts. We'll help with the LOI. We'll help with the site evaluations. We'll help with anything that it takes to get the store open, including setting up. So the franchisee, if looking at it, will range from $416,000 to about $560,000. And the difference being in those is going to be the size of the building and the market they deploy in. So like New York is going to be more expensive than Iowa.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. What is the biggest driver of the business? What brings people in, and what's the product or service that brings in the largest margins? Quick question for you. How do you know if franchising is even the right thing for you? I tell you what, I provide a free Your First Franchise assessment to every candidate that I work with that helps them understand, is franchising even the right thing for them? And if it is, what area and where should they be placed inside of a franchise system? I'll explain what all that means, but I provide that for free. It's kind of like a DISC assessment or Briggs Myers specific to franchising, and it helps you avoid a costly mistake and gives you insights to what's the best options for you. Now, yourfirstfranchise.com, hit the contact us button. I'll set that up for you for free. Now, let's get back to the show.
You're going to have detailing. Well, it's basically, it's broken down about 30% category on each one of those profit drivers: detailing, protection, and spray on bedliner. Now that'll rotate depending on the market that you're in. Phoenix, Arizona, that's going to be more ceramic paint coatings, window films, paint protection films, spray on bedliners, and some undercoating and detail.
Mm-hmm.
In the north, above the Great Line, I call it, in the snow belt, you are going to sell a lot of rust protection, ceramic paint coatings, interior detailing, exterior detailing, spray on bedliners, because it's a lot of trucks in those in the northern markets. And those would be the categories. So when we talk about our business model and the opportunity that's available to the business owner, we are an adaptive business model. To give you an example, we're in the Middle East. And in the middle of the desert, there's no corrosion. So we'll adapt the business model to the environment where the franchisee lives. So we're not going to go in there and force everything on an individual in a market where some of the items may not resonate. Like in New York City, right? There's very few trucks in New York City. Spray on bedliner might not be right for that market. So we wouldn't force the franchisee to do. We're going to cater the business model to meet the requirements within that market and the environment.
And window tinting more popular across.
Yeah, window tinting is right up there. So I guess if I had to say the three big drivers, it's going to be detailing, paint films category, paint protection film, window tinting, and then spray on bedliner and corrosion. Those are the biggies.
How many people does it take to run this? And can somebody come in as an owner? Where they manage somebody, or do you all want somebody to come in and be the operator?
So a typical operation takes on average about 7 individuals, 5 in the back, a manager, and a professional salesperson. From that standpoint, we can train every single person for each one of those positions. They do not need to be skilled. One category that is different than that would be films category, because that's one of the most difficult products to put on, I guess. And it takes there's a learning curve to it, but we can train individuals with no experience to do that in a matter of weeks.
I gotcha. And then in the investment level, go over that again, and then we'll talk about the revenue side of it a little bit.
Yeah. So the investment level. So when you're looking at let's say it's 416, like you'll see in the FDD when you guys get one. In the FDD, it says 416, then it says 560. Right. That's all predicated upon the market you're in. So I keep going back to Nebraska, Iowa, Kansas. Those are inexpensive property markets. And then if you're opening up on the Eastern Seaboard versus the Western Seaboard, those property markets are going to be much higher. So we take that into consideration, that franchisee is going to lease. That's what's affecting that volume, the lease rate. The labor rates are going to be the same almost all the way across the United States, right? You're going to be in the $16 to $22 an hour category for unskilled labor, right? So, but that we become skilled and trained in that services, but that's affects it. So when we look at that, let's say it's 416, the complete package to outfit a 6,500 square foot building is about $270,000. Includes your license fee, includes your inventory, and that's all the equipment, all the signage, the building, everything. That gets the door open. The remaining portion of that is 3 months of operations. So it's going to contain 3 months of rent, 3 months of taxes, 3 months of utilities, and 3 months of labor, and 3 months of advertising expense in there.
Okay. And then let's talk about, I really want to get into this because we had spoken before, and the amount of support you have to help somebody launch the business. For starters, you all do a lot of lead up work before they even turn the key to the
Yes.
door. They have business waiting for them.
So on the lead up to so the day when let's walk through the process, I guess, right?
Sure.
So they come through you and they come to our doorstep, and I start talking with the individual to find out what the amount of business is in that. So from the startup, I'm going to walk you through the business model. I'm going to walk you through property within your market. I'm going to help that individual do the due diligence within the market itself. We're then going to do research into property acquisition and what that involves and what the market conditions are like within the area of the individual that wants to open the business.
Mm-hmm.
And once we've decided that this is the right direction to go, they're going to fill out an application form. They're going to submit that to me. That gets approved within 24 hours from that point. Then we go to the deep dive view. That's where I work directly with the candidate on property, finding brokers, helping negotiate the contract. We'll look at the contract before they have to take it to their attorney to save them a ton of money.
Mm-hmm.
We'll redline that, give it back to the broker. That broker will then submit it to the landlord, and we'll go from there. Once that's done, then we'll fly down to the site and we'll do an on-site inspection. We will not let the prospect sign anything until we personally inspect the property and have approved a contract. And then once that's done, then their lawyer will look it over. Approvals to move forward. We come down and we start the process on property search. And once we've got that done, we sign that lease and we move forward. That team kicks in. I'll do the transition to their regional team that sticks with them throughout the ownership, which a typical owner lasts, it's about 26 years right now. So it's a long-term commitment and career in our model. And that regional team stays with that individual. And what they get in that is they're going to get a regional sales manager. That person is responsible for the sales growth of the store and training all the salespeople at that location. You're going to get a technical manager. That technical manager is responsible for training everybody in that store to do the application of the products to the level that they need to be. Then you're going to get a marketing person, and that person is going to be responsible for everything that falls under the website, everything that falls to direct marketing, local store promotion, pay-per-click campaigns, Instagram, X, Twitter, whatever they're going to be on TikTok and anything like that. That team helps that franchisee manage those categories and keep it going forward. So all that person has to do really is decide what products they want to put on sale based upon the seasonality of the product within their market, then pick the pricing. But we'll have already figured out what that pricing should be because we've done our due diligence with you on what the competitors are within the market. So we stabilize the pricing. So in that, pricing will be stabilized within the market. We're going to put ourselves at the high end of the level. We're going to make sure that all the staff is technically trained, and we're going to make sure that the sales effort at the counter, both inside and outside for development, is going to be there. The individual franchisee will, I'll tell you this much, will pretty much tell us at the end of the year, go away. That's how much support they're going to get. They're going to get right out of the chute 8 weeks of training. Then we're going to be on site with training. And then the day they open up the door and they turn that key for their first customer, that store will have already be booked with customers because we're going to start locating on the website. We're going to build the site itself. It's going to index in that 90 days. We're going to offer specials to the consumer. So there'll be work to do the day the key turns and the bills start flowing. The cash will start flowing. But our team will be there that first weeks of operation, Monday through Saturday, open, close, supporting the launch of that store.
That's what I wanted people to hear, the level, how deep you all go on that.
We go deep. See, on their first year, so right after that, 30 days later, we'll break away after they've opened and we've been there. We'll break away for 30 days. We're always available 24/7 on the phone. Doesn't matter where we're at. We'll answer the questions or help them through a prospect, but we'll come back at the end of 30 days. We'll stay another 5 days at that store. We'll redo everything we did with all the staff members. So there'll be a salesperson at the counter working with them. There'll be a technical person in the back, and the marketing manager will oversee what advertising has occurred and what the results are on that for. That second visit of full store operations, we'll back away again, this time for probably 60 days, but we're still available 24/7. There's a computer system available with videos and trainings and manuals, everything that they need to get this business up and running, and we'll come back. They're literally at the end of the year, we're there to help them be successful. But at the end of the year, we know that they're going to say, you know what, we've had enough. Go away for a while. I just want to do this myself.
Let me run my business. All right. What does the ideal candidate look like for you all?
Oh, they come from all sorts of walks of life. The one thing I would say is they need to be comfortable with customers and being able to talk. If you can do that, that's a huge step in the right direction. The second one is you should be an automotive enthusiast. Really, because we are cars. Everybody loves their cars. Seriously. I mean, you can go back, and I don't care who you talk to, your buddies, your girlfriends, whatever. They can all tell you about their first car.
Yeah.
They can tell you every single story there is about it, good ones and the bad ones. Ones where they used to pet the dash when they turned the key and hoped it started, right?
Yeah.
That kind, to the kind that they finally have their dream car today, right? Whatever that classic is, or whatever the model they want. The old saying, the Cadillac is what I want when I'm there, or I want that sports car. So those are the types of people that we look for that have a passion for automotive and have a passion for vehicles and consumers.
I always tell people when they're considering different concept brands, they have to have at least a genuine interest. I think some businesses, it really helps when you have a passion for it. And car people, they love, when you find car people, you can't get them off the subject of talking about cars at a social event. That's all they talk about. So that's the people that make a good fit. What is your last question, and we'll wrap this up. I want people to realize their potential. And if they're going down this route, looking at franchises or business or any entrepreneurial journey, what's your number one piece of guidance for that person?
Well, the individual that's thinking about franchising needs to take in consideration, one, do they believe in themselves? That's the first step. Once you've done that, you say, okay, I believe in myself. I can do this. You have to decide what category you want. What drives you? What makes you excited? What makes you wake up early in the morning to go in at 6 a.m. and then work 5 days a week, right?
Yeah.
And get home by 6 o'clock. What drives you to do that? It's enthusiasm. Enthusiastic individual that loves the business that they select. And I don't care what it is. It could be Mosquito Joe's. It could be selling pretzels. It could be selling Ziebart. You can follow a business concept and follow a manual. You can be successful. Now, to what level of success? That's dependent on individuals. We have franchisees that are families that run single store. It'll do $3 million in a rural farm town.
Wow.
We have families that have 11, 12, 16 stores, right? And they're going to do $2 million, $3 million a location, right? It depends on the level of enthusiasm that you have within yourself and the drive that you have within yourself. You can be successful at any franchise model you pick. You just got to pick the one that you like.
Well, you got the advantage of people coming in who are passionate about cars. Enthusiasm is contagious, 100%. And your team feels it. And when your team feels it, you're going to sell more and you're going to have happy customers.
That's correct. That's
right.
absolutely correct. Franchising, I've been in it 39 years. I love it to death. I love cars and I love talking to consumers. I love talking to you all.
I love it too.
All of this stuff is fine and fabulous. And if other people like that, then God bless them, man. They will be successful.
Well, Mike, this has been a pleasure. Folks, if you are interested in Ziebart, get in touch with me. I'm working with Mike and his team, his very large team that will support you and give you the support you need to get up and running with Ziebart. Mike, thank you for your time. Love your city. I'm a champion of Detroit because of the turnaround. I'm in New Orleans. We have a lot of similarities in some ways. a lot of grit to get through the things
Right.
we've gotten through. And I can relate to that.
I tell
And
you,
a
you
good
come
friend
up
of mine,
here, you drive up here, we'll clean your car. I come down there, you take me for crawfish.
it's a crawfish or Mardi Gras parade. How about that?
There you go.
Or
One or
both.
the other.
Sir, it's been a pleasure. I appreciate you. And thank you for being part of the show.
All right. Thank you, Yul, for having me. I greatly appreciate it.
And that is a wrap with Mike. Love this brand. To get in touch with me, go to yourfirstfranchise.com. Yourfirstfranchise.com. Hit the contact us button. And I got some great news. I got a brand new book called Your First Franchise Roadmap. It's so new, it says not for resale. This is the draft copy they sent me to make sure it was ready. It's now ready on Amazon. Look up, all you got to do is type in Your First Franchise Roadmap in the search bar. It will pop up. And know this, 100% of the profits from this book will go to Make-A-Wish Foundation to help a great cause I really love. So, and hopefully you love as well. And this is your roadmap to get you jump started in franchising. This answers all the questions I get asked almost daily. All right. You know the drill. Be intentional and make today a great day. And like, subscribe, hit the bell, leave 5 stars. Please leave 5 stars. All right, guys. Take care.